Hello. So today I am going to walk you through how we audit our clients' catering processes to break the bottlenecks and help them make more money, and how you can do the exact same thing. Now, if you're familiar with my videos, you know I get straight into it. All I want to do is provide you value, not waste your time, and actually take you through the process, why we do this, how we do this, and then more importantly, how you can take action today. Now, if you're watching this, hopefully you're a restaurant owner, and basically what I'm going to show you is how we help our partners scale vertically. So how we help them add an extra 20K to their monthly revenue at minimum in order to help them actually go ahead and increase their capacity, or increase the amount of volume that they're doing with private events. So whenever we bring on a partner, there's always two first things that we look at before we look at what are the bottlenecks, right? The first two factors that play a massive role in whether or not we can crush it for these clients with private events and catering or not are two things. One, the ticket price, and the second thing is the contribution margins. And so the first thing that we look at is the ticket price. So what we look at is your pricing structure. Is it a per person? Is it like a templated package? Is it a custom package? Why have we done it that way? Where can we stack more bonuses? How do we position the offer in a way that it can look more valuable to the customer, right? How can we figure out how we can charge more by producing more value? So the first thing that we always look at is ticket price. Now, I'm not going to go much into how you can increase your ticket price here. We got quite a few videos on that on our channel already, so please go ahead and watch that. But that's the first thing that we look at. The reason I'm showing the reason I'm bringing this up is because you can't just figure out how to scale any offer. You need to make sure that the ticket price is there, and then once we figured out, okay, this is a great ticket price, this is the perfect structure as well as the way that we want to deliver it to the market, the next thing that we look at is the contributing margins. Now, what does that mean? Well, the first thing that we look at is, do the margins allow us to scale profitably? All right, there's a rule that we use, which is 3x cash collected in 30 days to the cost of acquisition ratio, right? So what that basically means is we want to make sure that whenever we get you guys, or whenever you get a catering deal, what you want to make sure, or a private event deal, is that the amount that you collect, or the amount that you charge, or the amount that you get paid is at least 3 times in profit, three times the amount that you have spent to acquire that customer, right? So 3x cash collected to the cost of acquisition ratio, right? And so in a simple scenario, let's just say you spend $1,000 to acquire a customer, which obviously you spend way less than that. And then the cash collected after the cost is $3,000, right? That is the basic math, right? And so what the breakdown is that what this allows you to do, and why this allows you to scale profitably, is because of the law of client financed acquisition, right? And so what that means is, if your cost of acquisition is $1,000, then we know that in order for you to acquire another customer, you have to spend $1,000. And so with this exact ratio, you have just enough to cover your cost, right? Your cost of acquisition. You have then another $1,000, right? So 3,000 minus 1,000 leaves you with 2,000. You then have another 1,000 to go ahead and acquire another customer. So it's literally like a cash generating machine. And then the last thing is, after you've taken the total amount minus the 2,000, you have 1,000 in profit. And so this is literally called client finance acquisition. If you are spending $1,000 to acquire a 3K deal after costs, which really isn't hard, then what you're going to be doing is building this infinite loop of, one, getting more clients, two, having your clients pay for you to get more clients, and then you being able to make profit, right? And so again, if it costs you 1,000 to acquire a customer, you're then left with 2,000. Another of that 1,000 of that 2,000 goes ahead and allows you to go ahead and acquire another customer, and then you're left with $1,000 profit, right? And so with this deal, you cover your $1,000 of acquisition, you have $1,000 to put back into acquisition to acquire another client, and then you're still left with $1,000 profit, right? And so once we've got that mapped out, and once we understand that the metrics and unit economics makes sense, we then transition to the actual metrics, right? We then transition to analyzing the sales process and metrics, because what I'm going to show you here is how to identify bottlenecks in the 4 main metrics that we track, and then what you need to do, or what we do in order to go ahead and actually make sure that we can we can fix those metrics, how we fix those metrics, which metrics we want to target to fix first, and then how you want to go from there. And so there's 4 main metrics that we look at straight away. The first one is the number of leads, right? So how many leads a month are you getting, right? Where are these leads coming from? are there enough to hit the goal? And so basically with the 4 metrics, we just keep going into questions. I'm just giving you 3 examples each. So the first thing that we'll look at is, okay, great. So we know that we know that the ticket price is great. We know that the contribution margins will allow us to scale. The next thing that we look at, the next thing that we want to look at in terms of metrics is how many leads are they getting a month, right? Where are these leads coming from? Is it enough to hit your goal, right? If you want to hit 20K this month with catering, are you getting enough leads to hit that goal, right? The second thing is then the event consultation or the venue visit rate. So how many of these leads a month are converted into venue visits, right? How many of these leads are coming into the venue to actually have a look or try the food? Do you guys have a systemized follow-up process? How quickly are these leads getting contacted in, right? So then we diagnose this metric. The third metric is the close rate, right? So what is your current close rate? Is there a structured sales process? Does the customer go through a tasting process? Does the customer view the venue as an authority or a commodity, right? Are they just looking for price, or are they actually looking for someone to deliver them the best possible service? And then the fourth thing that we look at is cash collected. How much money is being collected up front? Is it enough to sustain scale and profitability? And are we jumping to payment plans, financing options, or deposits way too soon, right? These are just some of the questions that we ask, but these are 4 main metrics that we look at in order to actually make sure that what we're analyzing as part of your guys' current offer makes sense for us to know what needs to be done, right? And so once we have done a pre-mortem, so basically what we call this is almost like a pre-mortem, right? A post-mortem is when someone dies, you figure out why they die. A pre-mortem is looking at your current business and seeing why are you not able to scale, right? Or like, what are you doing right now that is causing you to die? Then once we've done the pre-mortem and or looked at your client failure scenarios, we then start with jotting down the mechanisms to avoid these failures. So let's just say we know that you're not getting enough leads a month. So we're like, okay, great. Now what we need to do is we need to open up a new lead flow acquisition channel, right? Or the next thing that we need to do is we need to improve the tracking systems or set you up on a CRM. If you're not sure where your leads are coming from, if you're not sure how many leads you're getting, and if you don't have a place to track these leads, you're never going to be on top of being able to scale vertically, right? And then the last thing that we do is obviously reverse engineer the goals and understand how many leads we actually need in order to help you get to your goal, right? Is it enough? Are you doing enough? Are you running ads? How much are we spending on ads? All of these things. And then we figure out, okay, great. With these things in place, we know that the first thing that we need to solve is lead flow, right? So that's how we do it. So we look at all your current metrics and we look at which metric based off of the average or based off of whatever data, all the data that we have. We will then look at your business and be like, okay, the first metric that we want to focus on is lead flow, right? If you're not getting enough leads, let's just say your close rate is great, let's just say your conversion rate is great, then we're like, okay, great. The first thing that we need to do is solve lead flow, right? Now, let's just say you're in a position where your event consultation or venue visit rate is not great. Then we're like, okay, firstly, what we need to do is improve the lead nurturing process, right? We need to create automated sequences. We need to implement Certus AI for speed to lead, right? What do we need to do in order to solve this problem? So once we've diagnosed those issues, we then go ahead and put a plan based off of the high impact areas in order to help you scale vertically. Now, in terms of close rate, if you're not doing the close rate correctly, we're like, okay, great. You guys need consulting, you need scripts, you need SOPs, you need training, right? We need to improve your sales process, the customer journey. If you're in a position where the venue visit is being where the venue is being perceived as a commodity, right, where all they're wanting is the lowest price, then we're going to implement a testimonial-based nurturing process. And so basically what we do is once we've analyzed or done the pre-mortem analysis, we then go ahead and actually figure out a process to solve that. I'll show you exactly how we do that, and even if you guys want, we can even give you access to this asset. And so let's just say we're saying that, okay, cash collected is your problem. Then we're like, okay, fine. We need to improve the offer positioning. We need to increase your ticket, or we need to increase the front deposit, right? We need to review the metrics and adjust spend. Why are we not being able, if we're not able to acquire, if we've done everything that we can, we're not able to acquire, how do we make sure that we're still acquiring these customers profitably instead of trying to push them to pay more upfront? Or maybe what the issue is you guys aren't trained, or your staff isn't trained, or your manager isn't trained on the actual sales processes. And it's super important that we focus on this first, right? It's like Steve Jobs says, right? To me, ideas are worth nothing unless executed. they are just a multiplier. Execution is worth millions. And so just figuring out what's wrong in the business doesn't change anything. What you have to do is actually break them down and see what you need to do in order to solve this issue. And I'm going to show you exactly how we do that right now. And so what I want to show you here is a sheet or an analysis breakdown that our team goes through with every single partner that we bring on in order to actually go ahead and help them and actually be able to diagnose their issues that they're facing, or the client failure scenarios, or the pre-mortem analysis, and then figure out what we're going to do in order to solve it. And so what we basically do, and I would definitely recommend all of you guys to do this, go through your sales process, understand your metrics, and figure out what is happening. And so client failure scenario, let's just say the first thing that we see is what's a regular client failure scenario? Let's just say generating leads, but leads not converting. All right, so or generating attention, but not converting into leads. So let's just say we analyze, based off your metrics, based off your ads, based off your data on your Instagram, that you have a lot of attention. You have a lot of people looking at your profile. You have a lot of people looking at your ads, but you're just not getting them to give you their information in order for you to call them up, right? So a mechanism to avoid that failure, what we'll say is, okay, fine. Let's just say you're generating enough attention but not converting these leads. What we're going to do is create you a high converting funnel in order to convert attention to leads, right? And then we'll write more examples. So let's just say that's one. The next thing is create an event pricing guide to incentivize people to give us their information, right? And so we'll basically write down as many different things that we know in order to solve that client failure scenario, and then we'll put that down. Delivery mechanism, that's lead acquisition, delivery process, the action items. So is it immediately? Is it scheduled for later? Is it low priority? Things like that, right? And then you write notes. And so being able to have a system where you can actually map out what are the things that need to be done, what are the priorities for those things, what is causing me to fail, as well as the action items in order to make sure that we don't fail because of that reason, is going to help you guys tremendously. And I'll definitely recommend you guys do that. And so if you guys want access to this, comment down below growth sheet, and I will have either myself or someone on the team reach out to you personally to be able to send it to you. But more importantly, if you're in a position where you might not have enough time to actually go ahead and scale the private event side of your business by yourself, as we're going into the last quarter where, there's Christmas events happening, there's loads of parties, corporate events, things like that, you need to have talent, systems, and data in order to actually go ahead and make this work for your business, then feel free to reach out to my team. In my bio, you'll be able to see, or in the description of this video, you'll be able to see a link where you can speak to our head of partnerships. They'll walk you through what we do, how we do it, who we've helped, as well as how we can help you. And if it makes sense, we'll give you an offer to join the NPI program. But that said, I look forward to seeing your guys' feedback on this video. If you enjoyed it, drop it a thumbs up, and I look forward to seeing you guys later this week. Cheers.